Hello fellow musicians, my name is Daniel Rubin and this is the second part of my tutorials about MIDI and MUSE score. The first part was an introduction to online sheet music, and in this part we go deeper into MIDI and some editing. So let's start. Let's look at the definition of MIDI to understand better what we're talking about. So I found it in Wikipedia. MIDI is a technical standard that connects a wide variety of electronic musical instruments, computers, and related audio devices for playing, editing, and recording music. Right, you connect the MIDI keyboard to your audio device, your sound card, your computer, whatever. There are many MIDI devices out there, but now we focus more on the second one. MIDI carries data that specify the instructions for music, including a notes, notation, pitch, velocity, vibrato, panning, and tempo. And that's the important part for us, uh, because we are musician and we are working with the MIDI, which is a transfer format, an exchange format, and all this data is inside the MIDI. MIDI sounds are synthetic. That means it's not a recorded sounds, it's created synthetically. Every sheet music program uses MIDI sounds. That's what happens. So it already explains a lot, because our workflow is looking up some sheet music, finding it, downloading it in MIDI format, opening up in our application. In our case, it's MuseScore, and then save as MuseScore format. It won't stay MIDI. So it's totally a transfer format, just as GPX. GPX, I looked it up as well. GPX is also an exchange format, is different, of course, from MIDI. Actually, yesterday it opened up much better than the MIDI in our case. And here the explanation for yesterday, I didn't download it, I didn't use this, because if you have the MUSE score, then it's a perfect edited version, and the MIDI will be a raw version, which can potentially open up like this. This is the MIDI. Actually opened up in a bit of chaos, and this is the MUSE score, which I downloaded from the very same page. It's edited, it looks just perfect. So it's a great difference between these. Now I can close these, and I downloaded this file. I downloaded both, but I downloaded the MIDI of the R of the G string, and here it is. So let's start some basic editing, what you can do with some really simple operations here. The tools I will show you during the editing. So as you remember, if I want to edit it now, so it will be beautiful and perfect, I'll start to select stuff, maybe delete stuff, right click, and I add a title. Right. Just as yesterday. You can also change the font, of course, if you want a nicer font, but just let's say I want it nice but basic. So here we go, and now I save it. As you can see, This is the MUSE core format. I will save it in the same place. Now it's fixed. I will open it. Of course, it will save all the changes. Oh, I just messed the layout with my writing. Let's look at the layout page settings. As I told you, I always go to 10 in the margins. There's no reason. I could do 20, and I will make it a bit smaller so it fits in 4 pages. Alright, okay, so here we go. Let's open view, play panel. Where are the mixer? Here you go. The mixer, which you can collapse if you want, and when you play you simply mute your instrument. So let's listen to it for a second. Alright, so it's perfect, except some places like here when it looks a bit odd. We can fix that later. But let's say I want to play with the score, but I want an orchestral version. So what you do, you just select this bar, you point at it, and you go stuff properties. Now here you have so many options. Most important for us at this moment is the instrument. You can simply choose the search option, or you can, here you have the groups. Actually, for what I want, I need the orchestral instruments because it's not in the basic set. So I go orchestral, and I have violin and violins. So I will choose violins, okay, and he writes violins. Also, if I open up instruments, it will be, it is stayed, alright. So okay, and let's change this one also. Right click on the bar, not on the notes, and change instruments. I want it to be orchestral. I choose again orchestral instruments and change it to contrabasses to get a decent sound. I will already save it. I have this reflex. So let's see now. Okay, so now we have an orchestra which accompanies us. It's fantastic. And we can change the tempo, of course. Many times the tempo is like you edit it and nothing changes. So in this case, you just select it, hit delete, and open up tempo. Because of MuseScore is largely based on dropping. You drop everything from this toolbar. So I drop it onto the first note, and now I will change it. To 30. Let's see. Hit space for play. So you can always go back and edit this just simply by changing the text. also it will start playing from the place you chose. So I can click here, or I can click here. It will play from there, and you can, with this, you can go to the beginning and press play or press space. Right, so now you have the orchestra version. Now you can mute the flute, and now you can play with it. Save. And again, another thing, you can simply hide these ones in the instrument section. It's like now divided. It was a piano which was actually divided. It's usually linked, but anyway, you can just uncheck this, say OK, and then you will have only your part, which is more comfortable for playing. It's not gone. You can, return it, and it's here. Especially if you want to edit it, then you have to, to get it visible. So here you go. I have my version of this, and I will drag a closing bar line here. I'm selecting, no, I won't do that, but I want to say select all similar elements, but then it will select this one too. I don't want that. So it was a kind of retardant or rallentando in the end, which they did simply by putting different tempos in the end. And here you got a very nice layout. Of course, we need to fix this, but alright, I wanted to also show you also a very, very basic but important editing, which is transpose. So you can transpose all the score, or you can transpose only the notes you chose. This I chose this 4 with shift, and if I go to transpose, it will now transpose only these. But let's say I'm a recorder player and I want to play it a minor third higher, so I will go to transpose, which gives you many options. You can do it by interval, by key. So it was, we can go the minor third up, and here you go. You have the recorder version. This definitely needs a fix because it looks a bit ugly. It's probably that's what we'll do in the next chapter, because I think for the second chapter it would be too long to go into editing. So that's it for today, for right now, for the second chapter, and we will continue. See you.